We love restaurants here on the Beach Channel. I'm Randy Kassewitz, and we are going to be talking more food right now with the owner of Phuc Yea, Cesar Zapata. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So, tell me a little bit about, before we get into your restaurant, Phuc Yea, tell me a little bit about why you picked such a crazy industry to get involved with.
Why did I pick such a crazy industry? I don't even know. They always say you have to be crazy in order to be in this industry, and you know what? I agree. I started cooking when I was in my early 20s, but I started working in restaurants when I was 17, 18 years old. And there was something about it that just captured my attention. It's like, I was working in this banquet hall as a server and just always looking at the chefs, like just creating, and then just that pressure, that adrenaline, that competitive mentality just kind of like dragged me into it. And I'm like, you know what? This sounds interesting. This is like something I want to do.
Where are you from originally?
So I was born in Colombia. I came to the States when I was about 9 years old. I grew up in New Jersey. I was in Jersey until I was maybe 19 years old. Then I moved to Texas. And then from Texas, I came here to Miami.
And how long were you living in Texas?
Texas, I lived for 5 years.
And what were you doing there?
So in Texas, the reason why I ended up in Texas is because back then, my girlfriend,
I was going to say, there's always a girl or a guy involved for a rapid location.
Exactly. So, she went to Texas to go to school to University of Houston. And 3 months later, I ended up chasing after her.
And
so
this is a positive story, but did it continue, or
it didn't continue?
Did it end? Did your love end in Texas?
Yeah, exactly. So at some point, it just didn't work out for us, and it ended. But when I was there, I enrolled into culinary school. So I went to culinary school at the Art Institute in Houston, and that's when I started working. I started working in more as, I guess, my career started, because that's when I started working in the kitchen.
Gotcha. So then South Florida. You leave
South
Houston,
Florida.
Head to South Florida.
Right.
Why?
So when I was in Houston, I was working at Four Seasons Hotel, and then there was an opportunity to come here to Miami. I came here once and I loved it. I just loved the ambiance, the Latin culture, the party scene. So same, I was young, and I'm like, yeah, why not? I got a transfer to come here, and it was supposed to be like for 1 or 2 years, but I ended up staying.
So fast forward, what gave you the courage to say, you know what, I'm ready to open my own restaurant? And was Phuc Yea your first venture?
No, it wasn't. So, well, kind of, it wasn't. So, when I went to culinary school, I always, after just finishing and working in restaurants, I was like, my goal is someday to be a restaurateur, to have something of my own. And, the way that I want to achieve that is like, okay, if I want to achieve that, I need to work for the best. So I started working for the best hotels. I started working for the best chefs. When I was in Texas, I worked for some good chefs, some well-known chefs in New York, then here in Miami. And then it got to a point that I'm like, you know what? I think, we're ready. So we got approached by, this was already when I was in my 30. Yeah, I think I just had turned 30. So we got approached by some lady that she was looking to do some consulting work. It was going to be kind of like a piano bar. And I did their menu. And then I worked there like for 2 months. And then after that, she was like, you know what? One of our partners is leaving. He doesn't want to be involved anymore. Do you guys want to come in? So like, yeah, sure. We put some money in. And I guess that was like our first venture.
And what was that called, and where was it?
It was called the Blue Piano.
Okay.
So it was in Buena Vista.
Uh-huh.
It was maybe 1 or 2 blocks from Mandolin. And we opened this place. This place was popping. It was like 800 square feet. We had a great wine program, beer program. We had this menu that, this was back in 2010, and people used to call it like stoner food. So it was pretty cool. And I guess that's when things started to come together for myself, because started getting a little bit of write-ups on local publications, stuff like that. But then there was this guy that we knew, one of our friends, and he was like, I wanna open something with you guys. So, but that was a little bit further down the line.
Sure.
We had our partnership there kind of like ended. We eventually, I guess they got jealous because we were getting all the credit. So eventually we got kicked out, and then at that point it's like, so me and my ex-wife, we were working together. And we're still business partners. So she's like my business partner. So we were like, okay, that's it. I think our time in Miami has come. We were already getting tired. Nothing was looking good for us. So we were planning to move to San Francisco. So then when we were planning to move to San Francisco, because I was trying to get jobs here, but I couldn't, I wasn't, I wanted to cook. I was like, okay, I just want to get to the kitchen and just cook. And then I was not able to find jobs because people thought I had too much experience. So then the only chef jobs I was able to get was like in Dubai, Vegas, Budapest. And I'm like, I don't want to go there. So we were just thinking of going to LA. Eventually I came across this article that someone was doing like a pop-up restaurant in London, LA. So then I sent her a message. I'm like, hey, listen, by the way, like, what do you think about this? It's like, what is it? It's like, it's called a pop-up restaurant. She's like, okay. So like, I'm like, but what do you do? And she's like, oh, you just take over a space for a week or a few months and you just open a restaurant. And then she was like, I don't know, that sounds kind of risky. I'm like, look, let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then we'll move to San Francisco. Long story short, we opened the pop-up restaurant. We were actually Miami's first pop-up restaurant. That was back in 2011, and that's how Phuc Yea was born. So Phuc Yea was this small pop-up restaurant.
Where
in
was
the Ingram building in downtown.
Okay.
In a hallway. We only had like six tables, tiny, and we were open from Monday. Was it Monday? No, Tuesday through Saturday. We were closed Sundays and Mondays because the building wasn't open. And so the idea, we had 15 items on the menu. The idea was to take over this restaurant at 3:00 because in the daytime there was another restaurant there. So we took over the restaurant at 3:00. So during the day, I went to shop for the ingredients, came back to the restaurant, start cooking, getting ready for service. 5:00, we opened the doors, and until 10, we finished. The first day that we opened, we were fully booked. We did about 80 covers.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. By 8:30, we were sold out. We didn't have no food whatsoever. The next day, same thing. We're like, can I curse in here or no?
It's all right.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I guess this is working. We hire people to kind of help us because between her and I, she was in the front, I was in the back. Between her and I, we couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So, and that happened for 3 months. During those 3 months, the friend I was telling you, he approached us like, you guys can make lemonade out of anything. Why don't we open a restaurant together? And we were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's open Phuc Yea. And he was like, you know what? I don't want to go ethnic. Let's do something different. So then we opened a concept called the Federal. I don't know if you remember.
I heard of the Federal, yeah.
So
it was
that
on
was-
Biscayne, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was in Biscayne, 51st. And it was a modern American
everything.
restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of accolades. That's what basically put us on the map.
Okay.
So the Federal.
Let's get to Phuc Yea.
Yeah.
Unusual name you picked,
Oh, yeah.
but one that people will remember.
That's the idea.
Do you sell? We're gonna get to your food in a second, but do you sell a lot of T-shirts and merchandise?
We do.
I bet you do.
So a lot of times, people think that, Phuc Yea doesn't have a meaning, but, it's a play on words.
Yeah.
But Phuc actually in Vietnamese means blessings, prosperity, and good fortune.
Okay. So let's talk about your food. I see the food up in front of us, and what dish is that? And Where did you get your influence for the type of menu you
So
deliver?
that is our PY noodles. A lot people love to call it crack noodles
Hmm.
because I guess once you have them, it's like you wanna continue ordering more, eat more. So those are egg noodles with oyster sauce, lemongrass garlic butter, and Parmesan cheese.
Wow.
So the inspiration came. I love to travel, and I was in San Francisco, or was it? Yeah, San Francisco, and went to this restaurant. It was kind of like a Vietnamese style, but they were influencing with a little bit of Cajun. And I had this noodles there that was just similar. So it was like noodles with scallions and butter. And I'm like, you know what? Let's try to make something similar, like that umami bomb. So I added, the lemongrass garlic butter, the oyster sauce, Parmesan cheese, and that's how
That's
these noodles were born.
amazing. And what are we looking at here?
So those are the
That's the one
the
that you
PY
talked about.
noodles, correct?
PY noodles. Okay,
Yeah,
just a different version of it.
yeah.
What about the challenges combining your Vietnamese background and Colombian culture? You kind of really blended two different
Right.
kinds of countries' foods.
No, yeah. So when we first started, we were more traditional than what we are now modern. So when we first opened, we opened back in 2016, I think. And it was a little hard because, people were still not so, I guess, what we call foodies now.
Yeah,
So it was a little difficult.
sure.
So we started to incorporate some of those Latin influences that we have a lot in Miami, and also it's part of my culture. So we started to kind of like just give the menu a little revamp and just add those Latin and some of Cajun influences that also come from my time in Texas. So then we just developed this whole new cuisine that's kind of like a Viet Latin Cajun style,
What are we looking at here? That looks amazing. Is
But
that the PY noodles
those are the
again?
PY noodles.
I
Yes.
understand. So what is the base that goes into making any of your noodle dishes?
So, when I cook, I like to cook with a lot of flavor, and I like my dishes to be some sort of, I guess, complex but balanced. So one of the things that I love about Vietnamese cooking is that you can, in every bite, you can taste salt, sweet, sour, spicy. So like all these different elements. And that's one of the things I love so much about, that style of cooking and cuisine. So whenever we do something, I always keep those flavor elements profiles in mind when creating dishes.
We're looking at it looks like some kind of meat dish you have up there. In
Yeah.
addition to the
So,
noodle dishes, what other kind of items are on your menu? And
oh
what are we
man,
looking at?
so that is one of our signature dishes. That is our brisket style short rib.
Wow.
So it's almost 2 pounds bone in short rib. We smoke it for about 12 to 14 hours, very slow, in maple or oak wood. And then what we do is that we finish it with a fish sauce caramel, to give it that sweet, salty um, flavor to it. And then just finish it off with some sesame seeds. Normally we sell it with some bao buns, lettuce, wraps, pickles. So then like that you can create your own.
Is that more of a
um,
Vietnamese dish then, or is it Colombian?
So this is more Vietnamese and I guess Texan,
Yeah,
So when I was in Texas, one of the things that I fell in love with was barbecue.
of course.
So one of the things that when I was here, that's what I missed the most. So
What would be your favorite dish, or somebody out there watching or listening that wants to give you a try? What is your go-to item on the menu?
my go-to item, that's a tough one because I love all the dishes, but definitely the you have to try the egg noodles, the PY noodles, the short rib. We have this rolls called chajo, which is those are very traditional. It's like a Vietnamese egg roll.
Yep.
I love our dumplings. Our dumplings are delicious. It's just like ground pork, shrimp, scallions, mushrooms with this Szechuan peppercorn sauce, Amazing.
What are we looking at here?
So this is our Vietnamese Colombian fusion, I guess. And what you have there is that, the smoked short rib that we smoke for 12 to 14 hours. And then what we did is that we took the pho ingredients. So we have the rice noodles, the bean sprouts, the fresh herbs, the broth. The broth we cook like for also 12, 14 hours with all these different winter spices. But then we added some of those Colombian ingredients that you find in a sancocho.
Yep.
So you have plantains, yuca, corn, potatoes, and then we finish it off with this lemongrass chili oil.
Fucking amazing.
Fucking amazing.
And gotcha. Tell me a little bit about how our viewers out there would find your place, and what is the atmosphere? Is this a kid-friendly place? Is this a date night place?
So, I'm not gonna say it's a kid-friendly place just because our name, says it. But again, if you want to come with your kids, you can come. We don't discriminate. But definitely, there's a vibe. Normally we're pretty busy over the weekends, so we do recommend for you to make reservations. But once you walk in, you're just taken like back to, I guess, like 1950s, 1960s in Saigon, Vietnam. And that's what we wanted to recreate. So once you walk in, it's like you start to find all these different textures, patterns. Like we have like 3 different rooms that just feels like you're in our house,
How many locations do you have for Phuc Yea in South
just
Florida?
one.
Just one.
Mm-hmm.
But do you still have the pop-up in the Citadel? Because
So at the Citadel, I have another concept called Pho Show, but that's more like a pho, noodle bowls, and bao. So it's more like an OTC concept, more fast casual.
what about this Sir William's Hotel location? What is that about?
So Sir William's is location where Phuc Yea is.
71st
That's
and Biscayne.
71st and Biscayne.
Right.
So it was a hotel that was built in 1953. Very classic Art Deco style building, and we are in the lobby and in the mezzanine.
Amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a really, for those out there that don't know your area,
Mhm.
I think it's called Mimo.
Mimo,
but
right.
it's a really unique and a very eclectic area.
It
Great.
is.
There's some great restaurants there. I think there's I've lost top. Blue Collar is
Blue
also in that
Collar's
area.
there, yeah.
As well. And
Yeah.
there's another restaurant in the Vagabond Hotel over there as well. I think.
Yes, but I'm not sure. I think they were going through a transition.
Sure.
But
It's
no.
a great area. It's a really
I
cool area.
I love Mimo. We have Blue Collar. We have Chica down the road. What else? There's this new French American bistro that just opened up. It's called Grand Central.
Yep.
He's doing amazing things. No, I love Mimo.
What about just evolving the Phuc Yea concept that's there? I mean, I think I heard you mention an outdoor garden area.
Right.
Are you continuing to expand and add more seats
Yeah.
to accommodate the people?
So we have a garden area that we only use for private events. But now what we're gonna do over the weekend, starting March, is that we're going to launch this pop-up. It's called She's on Fire.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be a tiki style, I guess, garden lounge. So we're gonna have like tiki cocktails. We're also going to have like open fire food.
Wow.
It's gonna be just mostly snacks. So the idea is just, you come there just to drink a little bit, have fun, eat. The food is composed of 5 to 6 dishes. Everything's going to be open flame. We're gonna have DJs on the weekend. Sometimes we're gonna have some live entertainment. So it's gonna be cool.
What about the future of Phuc Yea? How do you continue to keep your regulars entertained and engaged with what you're doing? Are you constantly adding new specials or new items to the menu?
So we do. We change our menu about once or twice a year, and we do tend to do specials often. But I think that one of the things is, just staying consistent, listening to our guests when they come in, and making sure that they're having a special moment. We try to deliver in that, I guess, the whole full scale, like the full experience. So when you come in,
are your guests when you try to analyze where your guests are coming from? Obviously, you're in the Morningside area. You got Miami Beach just across the bridge. but you built a reputation that you're almost a destination point because
Yeah.
people come from all over Miami. You're
Right.
very unique.
Right. Definitely we're a destination. We we get guests from everywhere. We even get guests sometimes that will drive from Orlando, Boca, Palm Beach, Naples. We get every winter we get the snowbirds that, they come from Canada, New York. No, we get, like you said, we're a destination now and we get them from everywhere.
Let me ask you this: if I live on Miami Beach, I'm not too far, about 10-minute drive over the bridge over 79th Street.
Right.
If I come in there in the next week or so and bring my wife in for dinner, big night out, get away from the kids, what would be the 2 dishes you'd recommend we have or we share?
Well, definitely the short rib.
Yep. And the PY noodles.
The PY noodles.
Yep.
If you want something on the lighter side, the green papaya salad or the watermelon salad, it's delicious. Definitely need to have some cocktails.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is there a signature cocktail?
Oh yeah. No,
what do you recommend?
We have. Okay, so I'm not very familiar with the names because my partner, she loves to make the names very quirky. But one of our most popular ones is called the Phuc Yea. And it's kind of like it's a mezcal cocktail similar to a margarita but with mezcal. Delicious.
Amazing. And then are there Vietnamese or Colombian beers there as well?
We don't, which we should.
Do not have
it's
that.
It's hard to get Vietnamese beers here in the States.
Understand.
Yeah.
And the future for Phuc Yea, do you I know you're hands-on. Do you foresee expanding the concept into other locations? Can you handle a second or third location?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you been approached about that?
Yeah, that's always the idea. So yeah, we're working a couple of things, hopefully in the future. But we've been talked about opening something in Atlanta, New York. We actually got approached to possibly do something in Bahamas.
Wow.
So we'll see.
That's tough.
We'll
though.
see. Yeah.
Tough. Bahamas are tough because everything's got to be shipped in.
Right.
It's an island.
Right.
Food costs goes. If you think food costs are bad here,
I know.
Look out in the Bahamas,
I
right?
know.
You better be prepared to charge 1.5 times what you normally charge here.
Agreed. But it'll be kind of like in a hotel.
Yep.
So
listen,
I guess
you got a built-in clientele that can afford it.
Exactly.
God bless you.
Right.
Well, listen, Cesar, it's been a pleasure talking to
you.
Give us the address again so our guests know how to find it.
So 71st Street and Biscayne Boulevard.
71st and Biscayne Boulevard. You can't miss it.
Can't miss it. You'll see the sign and you'll see the logo. Phuc Yea.
And they can come ask for you, right? You're usually there.
I'm always there.
Well, we appreciate your time, and I look forward to trying the cracked noodles. That sounds like a blast. All right. Well, thank you, Cesar Zapata of Phuc Yea, and we will continue with more of our favorite thing here on the Beach Hill Restaurants after this.